live and direct on the TruMon Show with PT LotusOcean. Prashant, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine as usual. Yeah,
Great.
we're fine with PHI, not F.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a perfect day. I think every days are perfect. It's not
yeah,
one perfect more than the other. I think they're all perfect. Creation's perfect. And it's
yeah,
just us. We gotta get back to that sync of
yes,
maybe not perfect, but I think it's possible to reach a state of perfection in the mind because the body is perfect. The
yeah,
body is crafted to perfection. So
yeah,
probably we can align and center enough to erase all the program, and that's how I see you becoming more
yeah,
fullest of the story also without the program.
yeah,
Today
yes,
it's a perfect day, as I said, because yesterday was the full moon,
yes,
and today is full sun in the sky too. So I was
yes,
like, wow, that's great energy. So
yes,
that's a great opportunity also for us to talk about Vedic astrology. That's what I said.
yes,
Yeah, I said I was taking a walk with my dog yesterday, and I
yeah,
was talking to her. I was like, "Look at the moon! Look at the moon! It's so big, so bright." I said it's a
yes,
perfect day to talk about astrology or celestial bodies activity.
yes,
Call
uh,
it whatever you want, but I'll
yes,
let you go on this. Maybe to like there's many people like me that at one point we stopped going too deep and stuff. We stopped going beyond the like going with the definitions, and we go beyond definitions to
yeah,
understand what surrounds us, stars, moon, sun, all this. So maybe in that sense, I don't need a. I know you're not gonna give me an explanation and definition here.
yeah,
That's not what I expect from you anyway, Fike.
yeah,
So just go ahead, my friend, and
yeah,
just
yes,
maybe compare the modern Babylon astrology, what they do today, to how they overstand it back then in the days. Like there was times where people were making sense of celestial bodies. Also, people were looking up, not only with eyes shut. So go ahead, my friend.
okay, okay. The thing is this, like, okay, in that is that I mean, it comes down to the basic like spirit of inquiry, right? Like anybody, like any being, like a human being, like it'll come out and then it'll just be seeing all these things in the sky. And like when you see all these things in the sky, it'll be like you'll be wondering what are these things? Like like you just go out and you just see what like you were seeing like this is moon and there's this, all these
Yeah,
stars are there and what is how to make sense of it. And so like I mean why are they there? If they're there, there has to be some purpose for something to be there, like because nothing can be without purpose.
exactly.
Anytime anything is there, it has some purpose
Yeah,
for it to be there. So then there comes like principles like which have become like known in the West as well, the principles like as above so below.
yeah.
Like that kind of
We
like
heard
a
that.
yeah, that basic kind of principle is sort of from the point of view of like the rishis and like in the Vedic times who conceived of what is like now called Vedic astrology or the Vedic system of astrology, which is you can just call it like a celestial, basically like it's like a celestial workings of this plane. Okay, like it's like how does this plane function? Like there are various psychological aspects to it. The various material aspects to it. There are various aspects how this plane functions. Okay, so then you have to make like so there are beings who know how this, like let's say like sort of paradigm works. Okay, they came to know how what is the functioning of this kind of paradigm. And the stars or the objects we see, the celestial objects, were the codings. Like the codings for that particular understanding for them, like what how this whole thing functions. So but now that is a very like that is like having the knowledge of the whole thing, basically, pretty much. Like how the whole thing works, basically. Like just like
Who
you have a machine.
who
And
can know that? Who can know that? Like, I mean, me and you, it
yeah,
seems big to understand the whole thing and explain the functioning of the whole thing, but
yeah, because
who has
for those beings are outside of this plane. Okay, they are outside of this plane. So there are beings who have created this plane. Okay, so
sometimes that I go with this idea a lot
yeah,
because there's
yeah,
so much stuff.
yeah, obviously, yeah. So those beings are at a different level. They were called
Yeah,
rishis, like rishis and stuff. Like there are beings on a different level who can create this kind of world. Okay, like not just one this world is there, they can create other worlds like that world. So they have templates, they have basic sort of templates, like how a programmer creates a program, or like how a machine is created. Any machine, you can come to know the working of a machine, like how a machine works. Okay, this is a more bigger, more complex system, much more complex system. But the encodings of that were based on the same principle as above so below, because it had to be a fractal. Everything had to be a fractal. In creation, everything has to be a fractal. If it's not a fractal to each other, it will not work. Okay, if it doesn't fall into these, just like there are different things in like making a machine also. Like if you don't have this like resistor before that capacitor, it won't work. Like things like
Yeah.
that. So things have to fall in place. So it was like a more complete understanding of that kind of thing. So now point is that when people try to learn what is called Vedic astrology today, as it is, uh, there's a lot of nonsense in it, because all the system was known, let's say, 5,000 years ago, you know and in 5,000 years there has been a lot of tampering, okay, with it. Like, so people have over last 5,000 years added their own bits, taken out some bits. A lot of bits have been lost, you know because it was oral transmission in that time. It was not books kind of thing. Nobody wrote anything down. It was just everything, knowledge was orally transmitted. Okay, so when things are orally transmitted, okay, then you don't know whether it is happening properly, and the chain can get broken. When the chain gets broken, after that it becomes like, so there was some things which happened like that, but some basic things like the basic maths or the basic that thing remained the same, you know of the thing, which is like how to make a chart, or how to, like, and that is like a very simple thing as well. Like, when you look at the sky, and if you see a like a graha called like Venus, for example, and if you see that as an Orion, okay, so you'll know, oh, it's an Orion and it's in the Gemini stars at the time. So there are two constellations, like Ardra, which is Betelgeuse, the star Betelgeuse, and there is a constellation called Mrigashira, which is Bellatrix, the star Bellatrix. Okay, now you can visually see Venus close to Bellatrix and close to Betelgeuse by your own eyes. Okay, that's, you don't need any like a chart or a map or that thing for it. You don't need like any mathematical something in front of you for that. So the basic premise of the Vedic system was like, okay, then if Venus is there near Bellatrix, it's in that particular stars, or of that nakshatra. It's called nakshatra, called Mrigashira. Or if it is near Betelgeuse, then it's in the nakshatra of Adra. So it's a, like, there were 27 such things in the sky, like main stars. And so in the ecliptic, when the planets are traveling through the grahas, I won't call them planets, because if Earth is a planet, they are not planets. Okay, so the Sanskrit term for them was grahas. So these grahas are traveling through there, and then they are in front of these particular stars, and which you could visually see. So you can tell then this isn't that. Okay, now compared to the Western system, in the Western system it's not so. You don't look at the sky at all. You don't look at the sky, you don't look at the actual graha, you don't look at the actual stars, you don't look at anything like that. You you get
You make me laugh.
yeah.
Because that's what we do. We don't look. We go into books. We go. We discover the world through books. It's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
system which was actually based on seasons. It was not based on the actual observation of sky, or which celestial body is. It's not
Yeah.
looking at that at all. It was just looking at, like, okay, like in March the spring starts, which is the sun. Like, spring equinox is there. Day and night are of equal length on 21st March. Okay, so we'll start at that as a 0 point. Okay, so we start at as the start of Aries, and then we'll have 30 degrees from that point for like the sun to be will be in Aries, because it's a starting point for us. Okay, but obviously it's not spring in March everywhere. In Canada, it'll not be spring. It'll be in May, like the spring. Okay, it'll not it'll not be in March. Okay, like,
Yeah.
or in a lot of parts of the world, it'll be all different everywhere. You know this thing. But they set it up as like that, where day and night are of equal length. Then the spring equinox, autumn equinox, then summer solstice and winter solstice, which are like the 4 points for the sun, basically. And the sun, or after the winter solstice, gets up and comes back up alive, which they created the whole Jesus is resurrected on 25th December. 21st December, it goes down 3 days into the underworld. 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and then 25th it rises back up again. So you have the whole Christmas and
The whole
whatever,
fairy tale with it.
the whole thing. So okay, so it was a sun based system based on sort of seasons and these points. Okay, which is to do with the like the tropic of Cancer and tropic of Capricorn, those particular points. And so it was like a terrestrial system, not a celestial system, more a terrestrial system. Okay, so the terrestrial system is that. But now you can't say that all the other celestial bodies like Venus, Jupiter, Mercury are following this only. So they have made up these signs Aries, Taurus, Gemini based upon seasons here on Earth, not the ones which exist in the sky. So if they are seeing that sun is in Aries from March 21 to April 21 in the western thing, if you look at the sky at that time, look up at the sky, you will find that sun is not in Aries. It will be in Pisces at that time. Actual stars of Pisces. It'll not be, because they don't care about what is in the sky anyways. Okay. So like what is actually happening in the sky, it's nothing to do with that. It's a terrestrial system based on the equinoxes and the solstices and the seasons and the sun, which is sun has got the 4 points, which become the 4 points of the cross. Then sun is on the cross, which it becomes a Jesus on the cross and everything. Like it's
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So sun is in that 4 cardinal points of cross, and sun is that, and it is just based on that. So the signs should not have been involved. The astrological signs or the celestial signs should not have been involved in that cycle at all anyways. And it's not the same for all over the earth anyways. Like I said, like if you go closer to North Pole, the summer and that thing, like sun is there 6 months, and you you don't have any your night for 6 months and day for 6 months. So
Yeah,
same.
because
Yeah, yeah.
same as
Yeah.
last night was the full moon for me here. Was it the full moon for everyone on Earth? I don't
No,
think so.
no. It's not like, it's not so. I mean, so for everything, like the observational, like in the Vedic astrology, when that thing is done for a particular place. What the celestial bodies look like at that place at that point of time. That's all. So calculations are done on the basis of that. Okay, it's not the same for every place, not the same for everyone. Is what it is on that particular point of it. If you're in Australia, then it'll be different. If you're in India, it'll be different. If you're in Canada, it'll be different. It'll be different for everywhere. What it actually is. So it's basically like putting down on paper what is there up in the sky, basically, in a nutshell, like a simple thing, you know. So that is the main difference between like the what is called tropical system, which is the Western, and the sidereal system, which is the Vedic. Sidereal is actual observation of the celestial things, and the terrestrial, the tropical is a terrestrial thing based on these points and markers, the equinoxes and that thing, which has its own like a sense of some sorts based on just the seasons and the equinoxes, but it's got nothing to do with the. You can't take it to like the other celestial objects like Venus, Jupiter, Mars, and all of that. So and it is a totally different thing completely. So they like it's like a just the sun system without the moon. So it's like solar without the lunar. So it's like imbalanced. It's half that thing, and so it's not. That's why there's no clarity in that. So I won't call it an astrology of sorts. It's a sort of a system which um, allows you to understand certain functionings of earth and seasons. That's all. Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
nothing to do with the whole full system as the rishis know about it. Like so the Vedic had both the systems, and the original Vedic had both the systems, and it paid a lot of emphasis on the moon transiting through all these 27 portals. So like in the Western system, there are only 12 signs. Like
Yeah, that's what I was
Aries.
gonna ask you. Why all this astrological construct of 12 signs, seven
Yes.
wandering stars, 7 days of the week, 12 months, like all this construct around astrology. That's what drive me nuts.
Yeah. But the thing was that all of those things come from the actual way the bodies move. Okay, like sun will take 30 days. Like it goes through 1 degree. So if you have a circle, okay, so one circle has 360 degrees, or you can have any amount of degrees. So if they divide it into a way where sun goes through 1 degree every day, so each degree of sun is a day, basically. Uh, so the word day comes from that, only that motion degree of 1 degree movement of the sun. So
Yeah.
then you have 12 that thing signs, then 30 degrees, then you'll have 12 into 30, 360 degrees in a circle, because you have to finally divide a circle into as many degrees as you want, you know. So the way the degree was defined was sun's movement in 1 day,
And
basically.
and I
Yeah,
think this is
yeah,
something clear that we
yeah,
can all perceive, that the sun is circling over us. Like, I don't think the sun is doing this in the sky. Lah. It
yeah,
has to be a perfect
yeah,
motion, like
yeah,
synchronized. And come on, it's the season are the same every
yeah.
change of season. I don't like to
Yes,
involve
and
years or, but
I mean that people could observe that on a horizon, that like sun starts moving on the horizon, even like from the like spring to summer to
yeah,
autumn to winter, like where it sets, exact point where it sets,
yeah.
setting point keeps on changing and all of that. So you can observe all of that, and you can observe the stars which are there, like in the eastern horizon before the sun rises, you know like, so you can see what stars are there, and then when the sun is rising, it's rising in those stars, like, so, because which is the dawn period, and you can tell where it is, and when it's setting after that, you can tell, like, okay, it sets, and then those stars come behind it after that. So those are visual things you can see, and you could find out that how long does it take, how many like days means sunrise, sunrise to sunset, it takes for it to go through one of these bunch of stars, like, you can visually see that happening. Okay, so because time has to be measured somehow, like, and the
Okay,
only way we have to measure time is the movement of these celestial objects. Okay, there is no other kind of that thing of time, there is no other way time is measured, or time even exists. Okay, so, like, yeah,
but
yeah,
that's another hype
yeah,
that we're being sold a lot, that time is an illusion, time doesn't exist, time this, time that. Listen, I see the sun moves, I see the season change, I can notice all this. To me, it's not because I'm locked in time into a calendar. That's what they want us to be, into that calendar. But
yeah.
it's more like looking at the
Like,
celestial
the
activities,
observational
and
thing.
you're going to realize that.
I mean, people can say whatever is an illusion or this and that thing. Okay,
Yeah,
like, I mean, people are saying that, okay, it's a hologram too. Like, the whole thing is a hologram, and
yeah,
yeah, okay, it's not, it's an illusion, and people are saying that kind of thing. So, I mean, like, the best thing is to drop like a 10-ton weight on their heads and say it's just a hologram. Don't worry, like, or a 1 ton, like, give like weight on their heads, and then they say, like, okay, this is nothing is happening to you. You're just a hologram. No problems, no worries. Like, nothing is. No,
yeah.
take a stick and beat it on their head and say, like, nothing is. This is just a hologram. Don't worry. There is no time. You won't get hurt. You won't feel hurt in time because there is no time. So it's not like you will be hurting. And if you're hurting, then it can't be hurting because there is no time. So where is the question of hurting? Like, so,
That's it.
so,
You're
so
immune. There's no time. Time's an
yeah,
illusion.
yeah. So, and the body is illusion too. Time is an illusion too. Then, like, you will not feel a stick on you, like, at all. Like,
That's it.
so,
You're not even there. You are an illusion.
yeah, yeah, there's nothing, no problem, like, of any kind, like Jim said.
Yeah,
So, I mean, those kind of things are all well and good in saying. People like saying these things, and it's all good and well in theory, and you can keep on speaking these kind of things from your mouth and feel good about it or whatever. But in practical reality or anything, there is no way you can live by it. Actually, like,
exactly. And I know time exists because at one point my bills come overdue and I gotta pay them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, even if they didn't exist, like, let's say, like, the bills don't exist, none of that exists or anything, then still, like, if you're just going out and getting apples, they'll only come certain time.
That's
The
it.
apples won't be on the trees all the time, like, like, it's
That's it. If we are in the now, in the same now all the time, which is a lot of people trying to sell us, you're in the now. Yes, I'm in the now. I'm into the present moment. I appreciate love the present moment.
yeah,
But I can think tonight the sun will go to sleep. And I will
yeah,
also, like, come on, I cannot
yeah, yeah,
avoid this
yeah. I mean,
reality. No?
I mean, and things are not frozen. It's not a freeze frame. If it's a freeze frame where everything is
Yeah,
frozen, yeah, like I mean, if everything freezes and everything is in a freeze frame, then that's a freeze frame. That's a different thing completely. But things are in motion, and motion is
exactly.
time.
Yeah,
Okay, that's the only definition of time which is there is motion. Okay, and movement. So movement is there, and that is time. So that's the whole thing. There is movement, like, and that is the thing, and nobody can deny that there is motion and movement. Okay, so the whole thing was actually sort of like the whole Vedic astrology was actually like how we are here and what is the basics of the psychology of us here, like, and understanding that on the basis of the position of the celestial objects. Okay, like if that is so if a graha is there, like, or a celestial object like Jupiter, then it's given psychological characteristics. Okay, then there are stars in the sky which are given certain kind of psychological characteristics. So now these psychological characteristics meet those psychological characteristics which produce another kind of psychological characteristics through their combining. Okay, so that being will have that kind of psychological characteristic which was, say, born, quote unquote, born at that particular moment when these energies were in that kind of way. So it's like a combination of energies together. And w- the thing I like, the Vedic and the rishis and stuff, like, they would not teach any of the science or anything to people who are not ready to learn it. For that, they would have, like, people do the basics first, take control of their body, come to the center, do all those things properly for a long, long time until they were ready to receive this kind of information or knowledge. Right now, what happens is people just, when they go into any of this Vedic astrology, they'll start reading some books, and you know and they'll start, like, they have not done any work on themselves or anything. They just start reading something or anything like that, and then they'll read 10 books, then they'll read 20 books, then they'll read 30 books, and all the books will be saying contradictory things, and then they'll be get very confused. Final result will be confusion. Oh, like, this book is saying this, but this book is saying that. What am I going to do? Like, what is the right thing? And now you don't have the discernment within you to tell what is the right thing. Okay, you don't have it in you because you've not done any kind of practice to work on yourself or develop discernment, or have that clarity inside. So you are just confused, like, so there's no question of going deep into anything, because there'll be all kind of contradictory information which will be given to you, and you will be like all like lost at sea, like, basically, with it. When the Jyotish, the whole point was to make you navigate at the sea, like, not being lost at the sea, so you can take your sails and rudders and know where you are and where you're going. you know like, it is more like that, like how navigators navigated using the stars and the celestial bodies in the ancient times, like in the sea, like whenever you're there with a pole star, or with Orion, you can navigate yourself in the sea, like, you know where you are, like, you don't need any equipment of any kind
and
to
and it's
actually.
what
Yeah,
what you,
yeah,
sorry, what you were saying was very right also, because most people today, most astrologers today
yeah,
just go with books, that they open books, because you
that's right.
ask them, most of them, they have never seen the stars really for themselves, like at least with the telescope or something, because they look totally different than what we've been told. That this is one thing that everyone can check, is
Yeah,
take a telescope and look at the sky and see the stars, that they're
yeah,
not what we've been told. So
yeah,
right
but
there, the
even without.
knowledge that they had even 500 years ago, like most people didn't know how to write
Yeah,
prior to 1910. So
yeah,
imagine that it's very, very, you just go by what occultists were writing in the books, the one that had the knowledge of the tongue and knew how
yeah,
to write and give
yeah,
you information, but you
yeah.
weren't looking at things like to see them for what they are
Yes, I mean
today.
yeah, but that's the thing is, you don't even need a telescope first. You just can see them with the eyes. Okay, like if you go to any place which has got not enough lights, and it's the weather is clear, then you can see the whole celestial bodies by yourself, your own eyes. Like, you can first at least know where what is. So like the ancient mariners or the people who were traveling on the sea using the stars, then they had more idea of the stars and what they are, where they are, and if they can navigate through them. Okay, so that is navigating on the ocean. Okay, like navigating using on the ocean to get from one land to another land. So that is one kind of navigation, and then there is navigation with the same things through life. Okay, the same the same concept, which is like you are at sea, in the ocean and you have to navigate. It's the same question, like the same happens in your life. You don't know where you are, what stage you are at, where you are at. Like it's like a ocean only life. Okay, so whether you are navigating through that ocean of life or you're navigating through the ocean out there, it's a simile between the two things, and both are done using the stars and the celestial objects. Okay, so yes, so there is a that thing between the two. Yeah,
One will drive you to super massive confusion, where
yeah,
the other one will drive you more to the
yeah.
light and inspiration and more.
And I know the beings who know, for example, like the beings who are in the sea and who know how to navigate using the stars, like the North Pole Star, or the Orion stars, so they can get from one land to the other. They don't need any equipment. You can put them on a boat on the sea, and they will find the way to wherever they have to go. Okay, they'll not be confused. There'll be no confusion. There'll be nothing. Using the stars, they can navigate themselves on the sea. Okay, in the same way, using stars, you can navigate yourself in life, which is another sea, basically. Because
Yeah,
either you're lost, yeah,
you are a
yeah, because
ship.
either you're yeah, because you're on a ship, your body is a ship, you're lost at sea, basically. When you start, you're lost at sea. You don't know what is going on, where you are, what you are, where you have
Completely
to go.
lost at sea.
It's a complete lost feeling. So this science was for people to get a sense of what is going on, where they are at, what is the situation, where they are, what they plan to do, and if they plan to go a certain direction, how to do it. Okay, it is like a which direction to take, because your boat to, so it was all about navigation, basically.
Okay,
Just like
and
you navigate in sea, you navigate through life. Okay, the same navigation is navigation. It's not different for anything. So but to know how to navigate, you have to know certain things. You have to know like what you're doing exactly. So that particular knowledge was the actual real Vedic astrology. Okay, now in this present form, that is not so. With how the astrologers are practicing it or anything in the current scenario, that is not what it is. And they don't have enough knowledge and stuff, because again, they have not prepared themselves to have that knowledge. Because to go into Vedic astrology, you'll have to have the right diet, you'll have to have right posture, you'll have to have the right speech, you'll have to have all these things in order already before you start studying it at all. Where before you even give like 1 second of attention to it. you know it's not something like which is done without basics, which I've been saying throughout all of my talks before. Like without basics you can't do anything. And goes with Vedic astrology. You cannot get into this because it's not a joke, it's not a simple thing. Like it's a huge technical subject, and it has got a lot of complexities, and you will not be able to retain it, and you'll just get confused at different points. And most of the Vedic astrology students right now who try to learn Vedic astrology from YouTube channels or from books and stuff like that, they end up getting very confused. It like totally boggles their mind, and they're fed with all this information, and finally at the end of the day they don't know what to do with it, and nothing makes any sense. So rather than having any navigation, they're at worse situation than what when they started. They were very confused before, and in
because
the end they're more confused like than they were before. So,
I think it's important also to go beyond definitions, which I
yeah,
don't think in a state of a bit of a confusion, you look for explanation, you look for instruction, you look for definitions. Where I come here today and I want to go with you beyond definitions because I've done that stuff, lived having my whole life defined. So that's what we're doing. We're going really beyond
yeah,
this, but
yeah.
I'm not
And
looking
the,
for
the
sure.
thing is, this system never defined anyone's life or anything like that. It didn't. It just told you where you are in a particular point of time. Like in
Okay,
that.
so are you
Yeah.
talking about birth chart? Can you do birth chart with Vedic astrology?
Yeah, yes, birth chart means like just telling you where you are at. Okay, so a being is there. Okay, and they know like I'm like this or I'm like that, or whatever is happening to me, or what is happening, like I was born into this kind of thing, my situation is like this, my life situation is like this. Okay, so either a being comes to know that understanding through plain observation of their own state of being or of their own circumstances. Okay, these are my circumstances, this is my being right now. Okay, so like the birth chart will give you those circumstances. Okay, like, and that thing, and tell you like, okay, this is your situation psychologically, and like on a like that thing on a like a level of circumstances which you are at any given point of time, you know and like it says like it'll give you a sense that it'll go in this kind of ways. Okay, but that is not fixed, because you can change that by your own actions. Okay, but you can only change it if you know what is going to happen, where you are at actually in any of this. you know like most people don't have any clue as to what is happening or what is going to happen, like any which ways. Like, so it's like a past, present, future are all, so like you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you are right now, and you don't know what is coming at you like in the
Exactly.
future.
You don't know what's coming.
Okay, well, don't know what's coming. Okay, then so this was to alleviate all that kind of confusion. Okay, so give you a firm grip as to on where you are, which gives you like a more of a like a tool to navigate through life. Okay, other which is a very confusing thing otherwise. A human life out here, it's a very confusing thing, like what to do, what not to do, what how to, like anything, like there's a whole thing to that. And so for those beings who have, say, made this kind of world based on a system, and then stars are showing that system, basically the celestial objects are showing what the system is, you know from a complex point of view of like behavior, emotion, mentality, the whole psychological thing, like, so, like, I mean, that's what the thing is. Like, it's not a simple system, so it can't be. That's why, like, even there's 27 constellations, which I told you about, the 27 constellations, they were divided into sub constellations, four of them. So then it becomes 108, and then even those are divided further into four. Okay, so it goes into a very, like, you are dealing with like a sort of a like an Intel processor by the end of it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's not a simplistic thing. It's like it's a very complex system, but it's a very accurate thing and a very, very precise thing. It's precise and complex. Okay, and people, that's why, like, a lot of times, people who start learning Vedic astrology or any of these things, they get wrong at level one itself. Like, they don't know some basics at the level one itself. So when they go down to level two or anything, there are already errors coming, because if you have a basic error like in a program at level one, then you'll have many more errors at level two, and those levels, they're only going to multiply at all the levels. Level three will have even more, level four even more. Like, so the basics had to be done absolutely perfectly and precise and everything, to have not have these errors and stuff, like, which, that's why I'm against people learning Vedic astrology right now, that directly from books or YouTube channels or any of these things, because uh, there's a whole lot of misinformation. There's a whole lot of wrong basics and wrong things and stuff like that, which confuse people. But if people are honest and sincere, and they really want to learn about something, then only this thing, science, is helpful. And then they have to be totally sincere and be ready to do the work which is required before you go into the science. Okay, like that, there's some work which will be required to do even before you touch this at all. So, and right now it's not a fast food thing, like immediately you just learn to make it's a 2 minute cup of noodles or something, but that's how what people want it, like, like
The
in that kind
ego,
of way. Yeah,
the
yeah,
ego
yeah,
needs to know.
yeah. So it's they don't want to do the work which is very necessary for yourself in the first place, with your being and your body, which, before you go into any of this kind of sciences, I'm saying any of the sciences, like like and the Jyotish, this Jyotish was called the eye of the Vedas. It's a science of
Before,
light. Yeah, it's a science
before
of
we
light.
start, sorry, go.
Yeah. So the Jyotish, the word for Vedic astrology is Jyotish in Sanskrit. Okay. So Jyoti was light. Okay. So, like, it's the science of light, basically. It's the light itself. So, like, how to put light on this world and this life and what it is, you know, as a whole. You know. So it's like a complete light on the whole system. Okay. So then it's a major thing. It's not a, like, just a little you know like side thing or anything like that. So it is a serious thing. It was not like a joke, which it has turned out to be in the, like, just for fun, like, oh, what is your sign, what is my sign, what is your sign, or like, oh, I can go along with that sign, oh, you don't, I mean, like that kind of light-hearted sort of
Yeah.
thing, like, so
But
yeah,
like
yeah,
like I said before, we go into any thing like that, like Vedic astrology or any other stuff. I
yeah,
think it's very important
yeah,
to open our eyes to life. Open our eyes. That's what it is. It's really to go out, open your eyes, and look. And before you dive into any knowledge, anything, any explanation, definition, first open your
yeah,
eyes, because you were to me, it's like I was in a baby state, and I had. First of all, what the baby does a baby dive into books, or he opens his eyes and uses senses to discover the world around him? And
yeah,
same like the dog does. My dog is 6 months, they're brand new in this world. What
yeah.
she does, she uses her senses, her eyes, and she gets like very, very intrigued. She doesn't need a book.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, that's what I said. Like, if you're like going out in nature and watching the stars and the celestial objects, that's just like connecting with nature, right? It's the same as that. Okay, like you go out and see trees or waterfalls or mountains or
Yeah.
lakes or something like that. Then, if you look up, then you see all these things. Okay, so it's just the part of the nature and the natural thing, like to see these things. It's not something different from that. It's not so, like, if you're not connecting with nature in that kind of way, it's very hard for you to like grasp this thing at all in the any kind of sensical way. So that's why a lot of nonsense happens, because people are so disconnected from nature. And then that disconnection and that lack of common sense comes into any of these things as well. Like, I mean, it's going to happen automatically, because since you're disconnected, you don't have any clue, you don't have any basis, you don't have any basic focal point from where you can actually say like, this is this. Okay. Like, yeah, I mean, which is like observation of things around you, whatever. And the same is with the stars and the celestial objects. So
But
I mean, those basics had to be there. I mean, you cannot not have them and go into this science. That's why I like don't like to give any kind of interviews and on Vedic astrology and things like that, because then it's hard talking to people who have so many basics wrong. And then if I'm saying something on it, like, then it doesn't serve any purpose to like correct something, like, when a person doesn't even know what a capacitor or a resistor or anything is, and then you're trying to make an amp for them and amplifier and stuff, like, then they are having a whole lot of issues to not know what is going on, like it just makes no sense, to do those kind of things. So, like, yeah,
another thing also is those people that have made those beings, those beings
yeah,
that have made sense of all the star system and all that.
yeah,
They probably have made sense of what the sun is and the moon. Because me, if I
yeah,
use my eyes and I look at the sun, I don't go by what I'm told by flat earth people or round earth or whatever explanation. And I look at the sun, it's very mysterious. Like, I cannot explain you the movement by the movement. Even like, why is it always facing me? What Vedic astrology has found or made sense of this? Like, when the sun shows up, he's always facing me. He's
yeah,
there. I can face him. When he goes down, I can still face him. Like,
yeah, yeah.
if it's a
That is the
flat,
that is the
hold on,
that but
hold
that
on.
is, yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
If it's a flat disc, like we've been told in some places, like I would see it disappear. Like, I would not see it right like this.
Okay,
It's not
that but the thing,
confusing,
yeah,
but
the thing which these beings understood about that is that our eyes, okay, have a perspective, okay, and our eyes don't see very far, okay.
okay,
So
yes, this I agree with you. Perfect.
eyes form a circle of sight. So our eyes form a circle of sight, which is just goes a few miles, okay, and it they make the objects like turn into that circle for us wherever we are looking. It is like, our sight is not exactly how things are. Okay, it just creates a sense of perspective for us for what it is. So if an object goes beyond a circle of sight, how it goes beyond a circle of sight, like a plane, you can see a plane. Like, you can see a plane you can go out of your house and see a plane come. It'll come into your circle of sight. You can see it. Okay. And then it'll go, and then it'll just go out of your circle of sight. Doesn't mean it's very far. So you can find out how far your eyes can actually see. Okay. Like, so if you're near an airport or anything, you can go and observe planes or that thing and find out where, like, how when plane comes into your sight, and then when it goes out of it, And right now you have cameras and stuff like which have zoom and stuff, so you can actually use the zoom to see where it'll, you can see it for how long, and then it'll go away from your circle of sight. It'll last a certain amount of time within your circle of sight. Okay, so the same is happening with the sun exactly. It's not like it's just staying a little bit of time in your circle of sight. So like it's not like and the thing is that the way the whole thing is there for our sight, and the because our sight is so limited, you know like, and our perception of our sight is so limited, that's why the things appear to us the way they appear. Okay, it's not that is actually the case. Like if our eyes were designed differently, we would see things differently. And if our eyes were seeing like more frequencies and less frequencies, like then we'll see radio waves and this waves, and we'll see the Wi-Fi signals, we'll see all of that, then the world would look very, very different to us, the whole thing. Like it depends on, like, that is that thing of the eyes, which they know the limitation of our sight, basically, which puts that thing on what our thing actually is. Okay, so that is where the whole thing is. Like, so, like, if, for example, a being gets out of this body, like this physical body. Okay, so when they come out of this physical body, then their sight will be different. So then the whole thing will start looking very different to you. The whole thing is the same thing, but it'll look very different to you, because you don't have the same physical eyes anymore. Okay, so a lot of confusion which is created about all these things is from the physical eyes and how the things come. Like, yeah, like for example, like for the Vedic things, the sun is a being. Okay. Okay, like, but you cannot see the being, or all you see is a ball of like light, basically, which is different. Like, and if you see the ball, it's very different. Like if you go to, for example, near the equator, like India and stuff, in the evening you'll find the ball is just like an orange, like a real orange. Like, you'll never see that in Canada. Even when the sun is setting, you'll never see this orange ball, like, like, which has no, like, you can look at it for any amount of time without hurting your eyes. Okay, but the closer, the farther you get away from the equator, and that thing more towards the northern latitudes, the sun is more bright and blinding, even at sunset. You know, or a sunrise. Like it becomes different. Like, so in Australia the sun is different, in India sun is different, looks different, in Canada sun looks different. Okay, so it's
I'm
it's
sure.
a matter of, yeah, it's a matter of perspective and how, from what angle you are seeing things. Okay, like that's, so there is a difference between the tropics and the equator and North Pole and everything. Like, there is a difference. Okay, and right now people can make different models of the how the earth is. Like the flat earth people have come with circular model, some people have come with a pyramidal model, a square model, this model. Different models can be come up with, but the thing is that in the Vedic cosmology there was a model of how everything is, but it's a very complex model, and nobody has spent enough time, energy, and effort to put that into some kind of form, like a physical form where people can go and see, like a planetarium of sorts, or something like that, like a Vedic cosmology planetarium. It was a project which people tried to do, but it has not been done as yet. If it was done, then people would get a better idea of what these celestial objects are and how they are in relation to us, and in terms of other worlds and other planes of existence and everything. Like, so that is something which needs to be done still. And like, there'll be some flat earth models and stuff which will sort of want to change themselves once they come to know of this, because they don't know of that. That's why they are having a struggle right now from the scratch to make a model. And a lot of people are trying. I'm not saying that they're not sincere or they're not hardworking and they're trying to make a model, but there are obviously lack of knowledge and lack of clarity in a lot of things in that, which is coming in the way, so of how to make a model of this reality which we are inside. And the Vedic cosmology and the Vedic, that thing, the whole Jyotish system, is a way where, which is like more accurate, I would say, compared to other systems or things, which is more precise and more complex and more clear about these things. And the thing with the Vedic astrology is that people who even know a little bit of these nakshatras or constellations, 27 constellations, if they start applying it to charts, when they apply them to charts and people get results immediately. Okay, it is bingo on the, okay, when then they tell people, oh, you are like this, and then people say, oh yeah, I'm like this. Okay, so they get results immediately on some very like a basic level, and they get very excited. So they know it works, they know that the system works and there's something to it, but they don't know how, why, what. And then, like, when taking it further into what it is meant to be, that is the tough part for people. They're not able to go to take that step, but once again, because they're not ready for it, they're not actually in the centered state, the state which is required to discriminate between falsehood and reality, and truth and lies. That state of discernment, they are not in it. So so that's why I always say, like, people should do the basic things, like connect to nature, do centering, eat the right diet, like do the right speech and all of that first, before
Stop the
you do.
poison.
Yeah, before you start like wondering and speculating about things, because then, because there's so much information right now, like there's information overload, there's no dearth of information right now, and it can get very, very confusing for people, all that info coming at you. And you surely must know about that, like browsing through YouTube and different things right now. And you must have questions for me about from that as well, like, from all that you have, like, because like we talked about blood over intent or other things and whatever other things people are doing, because all this confusion only happens because people don't have any sense of discrimination. Okay, so and then that is a problem, like no discernment, no discrimination, then it leads to confusion and false knowing, and false sense of knowing leads to ego. And and then you are back into that problem again, like it's back to, finally, like, basically it boils down to whether you have a learning attitude or not. Like, either you have a learning attitude or you don't. Okay, like there is two things only, there's not a third thing. Either you're open to learning or you're not. If you're open to learning, learning will happen to you, and you'll come to know more and more about what construct you are in, what is this, where are we, who am I, what is all this, where am I in, and what should I do to get out of this. For example, this, if anybody observe this world, observes properly, they'll find, oh, this is a problem in this world. Okay, like that you have, you're born, then you don't have any consciousness for a while, and then you get consciousness, and then you have disease, then you have old age, and then you have death very quickly. Okay, it's a very fast system too, and in between you have all kinds of problems and issues and diseases and all whatnot. I mean, as many number you can name. Okay, so this is a very problematic situation. So if a being analyzes that, looks at it properly and observes it properly, they'll say, like, okay, look, I need to get out of this loop. I can't be in this, like, loop of disease and old age and death and this kind of that thing. And if you want to get out of that loop, then you'll have to figure out how to do that. Okay, which is again opens you up to learning. Okay, any kind of observation, proper real observation of anything, opens you up onto more learning. Okay, so that's where it comes. Like, so either you have a learning attitude or you don't, or you are saying, like, everything is fine, I'm fine as it is, and everything is going gung ho, and this is it, and I don't need to learn anymore. Okay. Okay, so there are only two kind of things: either you have a learning attitude or you don't have a learning attitude. Okay, and people are not having, like, people have a, like, a sort of attitude towards things, like, okay, I'll observe this and watch that, and you know that thing, and they think they're learning something when they're just getting information. Okay, and information is not learning. Okay, learning is knowledge. You learn something, then you means you're acquiring knowledge. Knowledge is something which is applicable to you, to what you can do and what you can actually do. It's not just sheer information which you take in and which makes no difference to your life. A lot of people take a lot of information in every day, but their actual life remains the same. you know it doesn't bring about any kind of change in their actual existence or what they're going to do or actions. Okay, so that's not knowledge, that's information. Okay, so information is useless. Only when it's knowledge, then it has some purpose. you know okay, so I mean, even same goes with Vedic astrology. It can be information or it can be knowledge. Okay, so mostly it stays on the informational level for people, this science also, and it doesn't go into the knowledge level. So there is a thing, and then whole thing is learning attitude. If you really want to learn, then you'll want to learn something which is actually helpful for you, useful for you, which you can apply
Yeah,
to
but if you don't know, if you don't know that you don't know that you don't know,
yeah,
like it has to be an activation of your conscience. Like I
yeah,
needed to know. I dove into this. I dived deep because not because my ego needs to know definition and stuff, but I want
no,
to know more about where I am, who I
yeah.
am,
So
what are
if
we
there
doing
is,
here? Why are we so confused? Like life can be such a great paradise, a wonderful, magical, magnificent experience, but we
yeah,
have all turned this into a freaking hell almost. Like
yes, it
our
is hell.
heads there, but
It is. I mean, it is. I mean, I told you the way the life is right now. In any plain observation, it can be told that it is total hell. Like, like it is. It is not a positive, nice experience at all. Like in any kind of way. Like in that way. So that can be told by anybody who is like even halfway honest. Like, it's, you don't have to be fully honest for that. Like that, even a halfway honest being or person can tell that. Okay, but the point is, after that, the genuine seeking has to come, like the genuine seeking. Okay, I have to, like, that thing, figure out a way, like out of this. Like if I am in this, then I have to figure a way out of this. Like that has to be genuine, there has to be a fire burning inside you, that spark, that spirit. Okay, which is what your spirit is. That's what makes you a spirit being. If you don't have that spark, if you don't have that fire burning inside you, you are dead. You're dead anyways. You are a like automaton, you are a android, you are not a human being. Okay, you're not a being in at all. Like, so that seeking has to be real, and it has to be totally there, and your ego should not come in the way of that seeking or learning. Okay, like where you think you already know, like because you don't know anything. That's the fact. I mean, that's the reality of it, like that you don't, you know and so the more you stay in that kind of state, then automatically more real knowledge will come to you, because your seeking is real. That's the law of the multiverse. Multiverse response to
exactly.
that sense inside you. If you have that sense inside, like, so, like, as outside so inside, as inside so outside, as above so below, as below so above. So
That makes
all
sense.
four, yeah, yeah. So if it is happening on all four levels all the time, inside outside, below above below, inside outside, all sides, then whatever your psychological train, or like if you have that sense of egolessness where you are ready to learn, then that will come to you. It's 100% guaranteed. Like there's no way it's not going to come. So the real sense of reality and knowledge will come to you. you know but if you just want to kid yourself, like, okay, like, and just like make like, if you come to know a little bit, like this much, and then you just start making YouTube videos and this thing and that thing, and telling people this and that, and then like getting all that thing, getting 10 20,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or whatever, like that means you don't want to learn more. You are pleased with that little bit you have, actually. That thing,
These number will happen, will occur if you
yeah,
are propaganding fantasy, because we're
yeah,
all stuck in fantasy là, unless you wake up. Là. So the
yeah,
majority of people are into this Babylon fantasy. So if you go on YouTube and you start repeating fantasy, you're gonna have a lot of subscribers, a lot of views, a lot of
yeah,
people, because we get excited. We love the fantasy. We have come the truth, forget about it anyway. It's too deep,
yeah,
and people
yeah,
love fantasy, even on YouTube. That's
yeah,
why you're never gonna have big number of subscriber here and
yeah,
all that stuff, because it's very, very veridic. That's what Vedic tells me. It's veridic. That's a word we use in French. Sometimes
yeah,
some things that is true.
yeah, yeah. And
It's veridic.
it's, and the word, like, if you mention the word discipline, the
Yeah, discipline.
yeah, then like majority people will run away anyways. Like,
Forget
you
about
just
that.
have to
Discipline to watch TV.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, if you mention that word, it's a very bad word, and it is, without that, like, even for learning, you need discipline. Okay, I mean, you can't learn without discipline. You just cannot. Like, I mean, it's not possible, to learn without discipline. It's not uh, a, a possibility, like, do you know what I'm saying? Even in nature, if you go out there, you cannot, like, if you, for example, if you're in a jungle, or if you're living in a jungle or something like that, you need discipline. Okay, I mean, in a jungle doesn't allow you to live in this kind of way where you can be totally undisciplined and just do whatever at any whatever time and whatever things and stuff. Like, there is a nature thing out there which you'll have to be aware of. You'll have to be conscious of your surroundings. You'll have to, like, like, it forces you to have certain kind of discipline, even if you are in nature anyways, automatically. Like, like, there's nothing which
And
happens.
You're gonna be
Yeah,
alive to go in the jungle alone. You're gonna be alive. You're gonna be on your freaking toes. You're gonna watch everywhere. Like you're gonna feel alive. We come in the
yes.
cities, we feel dead.
Yeah, yes, yeah, so that, yeah, that's the thing, like, there'll be a snake, something, or there's some bug some there, or something is there, or whatever, in the living in the jungle. You have to have your consciousness open, and you have to be like
Yeah.
open and responding to surroundings, and there's a natural sense of discipline which comes into it. The thing is that right now most beings are totally undisciplined, and they've been made so, being put in the cities, and that thing, that undiscipline is totally okay. Like, there is no, and a lot of the jobs and stuff which are there in the matrix right now, they don't demand discipline of people. You can go out there, just slouch on something in the chair and stuff like that, and just do something like that. Like, they're 9 to 5, but the 9 to 5 doesn't, the job doesn't require actual discipline from you. you know it's a certain kind of a robotic thing which it demands from you, but not a disciplined thing. So people don't understand the difference between the discipline and roboticness. Okay, roboticness is not discipline. Okay, so yeah,
Most job we do, it's we stay in our comfort zone. We learn. We might have challenge on jobs. Like I had challenge in my jobs a lot, but it was always within my comfort zone with the same machine, with the same type of
yeah,
plastic, with the same. It's always repetitive. It's the
yeah,
same.
yes, yes.
There, it doesn't seems to have nothing to make you stretch.
Yeah. So, and it's so that's so, like, that's what it has been told, and that's why people have been given all these sofas and things and stuff like in that thing, so that they can slouch around when they come back home as well. you know and put the body in an undisciplined posture, and that thing, and so, like, even so, I mean, they're in this matrix, they don't want you to get any kind of discipline. Okay, like, if beings were all like center discipline kind of beings, like in Shaolin kind of way, even, like, then this society will be a different kind of society, isn't it? Like, it'll not be this kind of thing which is going on right now, at all. Like, like, if every being behaves in that kind of manner, and is taking responsibility for themselves and their own discipline and their own being. you know right now, it is not, it is like, my responsibility is with the system. It doesn't lie with me, it lies with the system. System has to do this for me, system has to do that for me, everything. My responsibility, I'm not responsible for myself, the system is responsible for me. you know so that mentality has crept in more and more and more and more, so it makes you more dependent on the system, and then the system exploits you. Then you say, oh, well, the system is exploiting me. Obviously it'll exploit you. I mean, you are giving away your sense of
I don't.
responsibility to it.
I
Yeah,
don't say
so
why me. I say try me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so that is going to happen anyways. So I mean, we need that kind of thing first, like that martial bodily discipline, which is like shown in martial arts and things like that, but not in a way for like hurting anybody, or like not for fighting exactly, but with your own body and yourself.
Protect
Just,
yourself.
yeah, yeah. You need that first, and I think after that, because that is the truth and reality of your body. If you can't face that, then you can't face truth and reality of anything else outside, or anything like, so the sciences like Jyotish and stuff are way beyond you. If you are not doing that kind of thing. And that's what I try and tell people in the interviews, even like some people from Vedic astrology channels who took my interviews. That's all I said, I can't tell you anything more about it. You are just looking for some like trinkets from me, like, okay, this rule or that rule or that rule or that rule. But if I tell you that, it'll still not be of any use to you. you know because you don't know so many other things which apply to
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
What is the point? Why you like I mean, that's like becoming an information junkie. People have become information junkies, like they're on, like, it's like heroin or something for them, like some kind of crack or some drug or something, like, where, give me more information, just give me more information, give me more information, like, like, it's like as if, like, what are you going to do with that information? Like, you can get so much information right now. Okay, you can come to know this is that, this is this, this is that, this is this, this is this, like, then what are you going to actually do with it, like, in your own life? How does it change your life, or your that thing? Is it going to take away your diseases? This is going to take away your death? Is it going to tell you where to go after death, or how to navigate, or how to that thing, how to take control of your body, how to take control of your spirit, how to, I mean, none of that information is useful. you know you because it's not knowledge. So, like, you start with the self and your being and your body first, and once you put that into discipline, then you are ready for learning actual things further. Then you have like shown that you are ready for something, you know, like, but
Master the
people,
little stuff,
yeah,
or you
yeah,
master the big stuff.
big stuff, yeah, but you have to show that you are actually serious. Okay, beings have to show that they're serious. I mean, beings are just not serious enough. You know, if they just want to be like, okay, like a couch potato and watching all different kind of YouTube videos, and like expecting something good to happen to them, like, and that's not gonna.
Instant gratification of knowledge.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's not gonna happen like that. It's I mean, I'm sorry to say, it's not gonna happen like in that kind of way. Like, you are here. Even if you think it's a game, if like a lot of people think it's a game, it's a hologram, it's a computer game, it's a this thing, whatever. If you think it's a game, still you have to master the game. Okay, I mean, even if you're a computer game player, you have to master level 1, level 2, then you go to level 3, then you go to level 4, then you go to level 5. I mean, it's it's simple. Even no matter what way you see it, this whole reality, you still have got to do the work. I mean, it doesn't matter which way you perceive it. You still have to do the same things. Like, you have to still do the basic discipline to master the levels. So it's not something which, like, that's why a lot of people, where they confuse, oh, like, if it's a hologram, then what? Okay, it doesn't mean that you'll go and commit suicide right now to exit the hologram, because you're not going to exit the hologram, because you'll come back straight. you know like, it's a cop out. If it's a cop out, you like, when you kill a character and then in the computer game and it comes back again, the same way, you're not going to exit it like that, this kind of reality or anything like that. So like, there are a lot of negative things which happen from consciousness, or people getting aware of something, like, at all. And then they, because of lack of discipline, they take it in a negative way. They can't be proactive. The word proactive, it's a very important word, not reactive, proactive, in their own being, to do the right thing for themselves. you know they're
And
not. Yeah, yeah, they,
same for it. Like
yeah,
if you take
yeah,
my date of birth, I don't know if it's a birth. I think I'm born like 4 years ago.
yeah,
But the day I came into this world, supposedly I wasn't there, but I was there, but I don't remember. People told
yeah,
me it was the 1st of June, 1973. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
but in that time, okay, I was that 1st of June, 1973 is within the Babylon calendar, the Gregorian calendar.
yeah,
So the basic is false. Like even my date where I suppose came here come from a wrong base. That calendar is all
yeah, but
confusing.
calendars, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The thing with
so
that is, like, when you were born, for example, there'll be sky will be a certain way. Okay, the the sky will be a certain way. That has got nothing to do with the calendar, whether
okay, it has nothing to do with the calendar.
with 1973 or June or 1 or whatever. Like, okay, but so like, then that is a certain units of time before right now. Okay, so obviously, like in Vedic astrology, there's a mathematical thing system, because all the celestial bodies move in a certain way all the time. So you can go back to the past and find out what the celestial situation was at the point of your that thing. That's all. Whether it's nothing to do with the calendar or not, like that makes no difference to it. You know. So
Okay. Okay,
so
so you can trace. So, like, are you abilited, or do you have the
yeah, yes, yes, yes,
necessary
yes, 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 yes.
stuff
Obviously,
to
that's why.
take my
That's
my
why.
birth date and trace
Yeah,
something
yeah,
out of it?
yeah, yes, obviously, because that's how, like, the Jyotish mathematics of Jyotish. Okay, what is the mathematics of a Jyotish has predicted eclipses for the last 5,000 years. Every eclipse which is going to happen before it
That's
happens. Okay, so it can tell when the eclipse is going to happen before that happens. Before there was NASA, before there was last 400 years, before there were telescopes, before there were anything. Okay, right now it has been predicting that, and it still can predict any eclipse before. So not only can it project into the past, it can project into the future too.
but they don't use their modern astrology, that stuff, to predict that. So they still go with ancient stuff, but they give us the confusion.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, the modern stuff cannot predict anything. They have no idea of what eclipses are, or how it happens, or what the thing is.
Oh
So
no, no
I mean,
idea at all.
so the eclipses can be like it's called panchang in Jyotish. The thing called panchang. It's the thing which is a calendar kind of thing, which is called panchang, which tells you the celestial movement of the celestial objects, basically. So whether it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years into the future. You can tell what the positions of these celestial objects will be in the past, in the present, and the future. Okay, so yeah,
That's it.
all of
If
that.
you can go in the back in the past, you can certainly know the future, and that's
Okay,
why they're able. When that old 9/11 happened, it happened on the celestial. All the celestial thing, like it was built. I think the day Saturn was in, I don't know what,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the day
what?
they put
Yeah,
it down, it was
yeah,
like
so you understanding like that. The thing is that all that calculation can be made for the celestial objects in the past, in the present, and the future.
and in the
And,
future.
yeah, in the future. So like if an eclipse is going to happen a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, which lunar eclipse, which solar eclipse, all that can be told right now. Okay, you know.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
really.
and so the maths for that is there. Okay, and that mathematics which is used for that, and that thing of the celestial objects and that thing, that is all based on the geocentric system. It's based on a flat geocentric system. It doesn't take a round heliocentric system. These calculations are not based on the made on the basis of that. Okay, so you can chart all these stars and stuff and their movements, and you can have like a day by day movement of a degree movement of each celestial object. Yeah, so that is the core of Jyotish. That is how you come to know. Like that's called a panchang. Okay, that's where you come to know where what is when. Okay, so what is the now? So the now is this configuration. So if you want to define what is now, this moment is that very configuration, which you can take a picture of, like it's like a freeze frame picture of that. So that is that now.
But
Okay.
even the now, is there's anything like the now? Because everything is moving, everything's in motion. So
Yeah,
there's no
but even
really
you
present
frozen.
time. Everything is in constant
That's
motion.
movement. I mean, so obviously these like it's like frame, like each frame is in motion. Okay, like you can have like just like your TV or your like right now we are looking at this computer screen. Okay, there are still images like which are called frames,
Yeah.
which are frames which are in still individual frames which are moving per second, like 15 frames per second, 20 frames per second. How many, which is giving us this idea of movement, like that we are actually moving right now on the screen or anywhere. That is only 15 20 frames per second. Okay, so when you come to a freeze frame, like any freeze frame in the celestial objects as well, because celestial objects are moving too. Okay, but at any point there is a picture. Okay, at any point of time, and that is that moment. Okay, so I mean you can have like a lot of moments within a second. You can have 15 moments, you can have 20 moments within a second. Okay, of freeze frames of the celestial things. Okay, so it depends on how precise you want to get into it. Okay, so like a lot of people, like when you talk about birth time, like you can have a birth time like hour, minute, second, and then milliseconds. Okay, okay, I mean for exactitude, I mean then you can have even more, like you can have nanosecond. Okay, like
They're
of
all moments.
yeah moments, like you can get to the nanosecond. Then like in a like a celestial way the movement will be very little. Okay, in that time, in a second or a nanosecond, the movement will be very little in the celestial way, but even that movement will have a change, which you can find at different levels. So you can divide the degree into lower and lower levels, like I'm saying, quarter of a degree. Then you can have 1/16th of a degree, 1/32nd of a degree, 1/64th of a degree, 1/128 of a degree. you know
Yeah.
and then you can have it to that kind of level. Okay, so that's why I'm saying this system is so complex that at 1/128 level to 1/64 level there'll be differences, and 1/64 level to 1/32 level there'll be differences, 1/32 level to. So it depends on how you deep you want to get into it, but there can be a more overall picture which is more discernible to humans at like a minute. Okay, or that level, that is more discernible. And so it is such a precise system that,
It's
because that's
easier.
what, yeah, it is what you call the laws of nature. When you call laws of nature, right, when you use the term laws of nature, then that's what that is. That is the law, that is the actual functioning of nature. Okay, yeah,
And
this,
when you
this yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
seize
Yeah.
those laws,
Yeah,
catch
yeah,
the vibe of the laws of nature. You don't need the laws of man also to navigate. This is why we have the law of man. And I was
yeah,
looking at the video just to make a little thing. I was looking at a video in Japan. A guy got hit on a motorcycle, end up on the street. Several
yeah.
people passing by, not even paying attention, leaving the guy on the ground, going with their cars. Like, it's really, really, we don't really care about what's going on, and even in
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all of that is the first, like, I mean, that depends on the kind of system you have built up out there. In Japan, they have built up a certain kind of system, and that thing where everyone thinks that it will not be their responsibility because it's the state's responsibility, which I was talking about before. Like,
yeah.
you know, nothing is your responsibility; everything is state's. So some state has to move. Like, if something happens, I don't have
And
to move. Like, some state has to move and do the thing, whatever is necessary or required at that time. Like, you are abdicating
what I
yourself.
was gonna come to say is that even with that guy on the ground like that, that's why you have the laws of man that obligate you here in Canada. If someone's in danger, I have to give assistance. Because if not, I might do like those people. You know what I mean? In a
Yeah,
state
but
of
there are a lot of
in a
laws.
state of
There are a lot of
programming.
laws which people don't do that because they get into trouble in different countries. If you do that,
Yeah,
there'll be
that's what I'm saying. That's why there's a law preventing you from doing this. Because if you do
yeah.
it, that's it.
No, because if you do that kind of thing and you help the other person, then the police will somehow say like you were responsible for that, or you were involved with this, or something, maybe something to do with you. So you will be spending like a whole day in police, like 2 days and 3 days
The
and 4 days.
fear, the
Yeah,
fear.
yeah, and in the police station for no rhyme or reason. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
these laws have reached ridiculous level now. Everything is reached total, and police is ready there to harass anybody. Police's job is to harass people. Like, if they find somebody, like, they'll obviously harass. And a lot of countries, police just harasses. Especially like in like North America, like, America and Canada and stuff. Like, people don't want to deal with the police. Who wants to deal with the police? Like, I mean, does anyone really want to deal with the police at all? Like, so people run away from that. No one wants to do that. So, like,
But we all get nervous. I don't know anybody on the road. If you go on the road, you get a cop behind you. We all get a bit discomfortable. I don't know anybody that doesn't
yeah,
get that feeling, and that's
yes,
not a natural feeling for me. Just and especially when they put the lights and the sound, and then now everything becomes so chaotic inside me. It's like, what the heck is this? Like,
yeah,
why am I? Why can't I live free? And
yeah,
just
yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah, because this system is a total, like, what the system, this got nothing to do with nature, natural laws, natural way of being. It's nothing to do with it. It's the exact opposite of it. The system we have in place there. That's why it's anti-nature. That's why the word evil or bad or wrong is applied to it. That those terms come into play for the system, and as long as you are actually voluntarily giving yourself to the system, or like saying that I'm gonna work for the system, or I'm fine with the system, then that means you're not a human being. It's as simple as that. Like, you're not a human being if you are saying that I'm for the system and I'm totally like this is all okay, there's nothing wrong with this. There's all these laws and all these books and stuff like that. Because right now it's so stupid, like, because when they make some law or something, because it makes no sense, then then a lot of logical problems start with it. Then they have to make another 20 10 laws to make sense of that law and that thing, and finally it becomes these big books, like these lawyers books. They have these whole cabinets of these huge walls full of these things, where it doesn't make any sense, like this, what the whole thing is. Like, it's completely nonsensical, the whole thing.
There's a lot
And
of
that's,
people like
yeah,
that. They have big
yeah.
libraries, lots of books. They have read lots of books, but never went in nature to open their eyes.
Yeah, yes. I mean, but what I'm saying is, even these laws are so funny that they have to make up so many laws to cover the absurdity of one law. That, I'm saying, to make any sense of it, that it becomes like a huge thing. Then afterwards, no one knows what the thing is, like, at all. Like, what is the actual thing at all in any of it, you know? So it makes no sense whatsoever, So that's why, like, the system is so stupid right now, and the people who are working for the system, whatever you call cops or police or whatever, and that thing, and then they're like trained automatons. They don't deal with you as a human being. Like, like, obviously there'll be no human interaction to the whole thing. It'll be like, this is the rule and that's it. It's not like whether what was the situation, what was the circumstance, what was the thing, what was the whole thing, like, which a human being can calculate. Okay, that this is a different circumstance, or this is a different situation, or this is not like this, or this is like that. the human element will come into it, which it doesn't. More and more, you must notice that, it's like a completely robotic sort of thing. Like, so whatever people are doing right now, like in this world, like some are things which like only robots can do. Like even if you go to a supermarket and the counter person is just putting these things through that thing, and like this, and then there's just that thing, and then just tell you the number and you pay and all of that. That's not a human being cannot do that. I mean, for 8 hours a day or anything, it's only a robot can do that. Okay, it's not a fit job for any human being to do, or any that thing, like you need an automaton or that thing for doing these
You
things
need
and
a
stuff like that.
robot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So a lot of people who are doing a lot of things in this world, and that thing, it's happening on a very that thing inhumane level, and then people think things become inhuman, finally, that like this thing in Japan, or finally, but that'll automatically happen, because the whole thing is going in that direction, as a whole. So like you can't expect like something else to happen when the whole system, and you have made your peace with the system. You are saying, okay, this system is okay and it's fine, and I'm fine
Oh, yeah.
working
Most
for
of us have made our bed in the system.
yeah. So that's the whole thing. Like, and if more people wake up and they decide to get out of the system, more and more people and more beings, actual real beings, which
I,
have some
I
spark,
think.
then yeah, yeah, then there'll be a that thing to system, because system is built to keep people in a cage. Okay, now those people which it was supposed to keep in the cage are moving out of the cage, then the system has
We're not
no.
supposed to move out the cage. Là.
Yeah, but if they move out of the cage, then, which might be very few even, like when a system is made to put people in the cage, it's not made to put everyone in the cage. It's made to put some people in the cage. For example, like if you have a prison, for example, you know like for each prisoner there are many bricks. Okay, like in in a prison, the number of bricks are many much more than the number of prisoners. Okay, like
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
any prison, the number of bricks are much more than number of prisoners. Okay, the number of prisoners might be 100, the but bricks will be 100,000. Okay, so like if those people for whom the prison is there, and they start moving out, then the system has no meaning at all at anyways. So it'll collapse anyways, because it has nothing to do. It was meant to keep those prisoners in, and if it's not being able to do that, then it has no purpose or value or anything anyways. So that'll collapse anyways. So obviously the beings who have some spark and who have actual spirit and that thing, they have to take that decision in time, and like know more and learn more, become conscious and learn more, and then step out.
A
Okay.
conscious, deliberate decision. This is what I took one day. Okay, no one came to knock at my door. I decided to dive in because I had enough. I had enough. I couldn't, especially researching and like people, information and information. At one point, it's like I was going nuts with information. I had to spit something out.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's what happened. I had to create
Yes,
something and be
yes,
not be like even be the change. I'm just being myself here. I'm not being a change or a light I'm being myself. I'm natural. That's what we should
yeah.
all
That's
be.
yeah,
We
yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah,
label ourselves with light, change. Oh, it's very
yeah,
confusing. Just be
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, but the point is, from that point, one should start learning. Okay, one should start actually learning from that point when one knows that one doesn't know, and one has to figure something out. Okay, like that, one has to get that learning attitude at that particular
Yeah.
point of time, and with that learning attitude, you'll get to some real knowledge, and with the real knowledge, you'll be able to step out of the system and do a lot of other things which normal people think is not possible. Or in normal parlance, they think like, okay, this is not possible, or this is not possible, or how can we do that, and how we're going to do that. That how will be answered, like in exact ways, like as you start doing the thing and you take the first steps and stuff like that, and then after the second step happens, and the third step, and the fourth step, and the fifth step, and it keeps on going, and you keep on learning and implementing. After learning, you implement, because learning is nothing without implementation. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
just saw
yeah,
something in the chat. I think it's Suzanne said that, and she
yeah,
said one word: sensibility.
yeah,
That's what it's
yeah,
all about. It's about your senses, feeling stuff, feeling life, feeling your being, and I don't know. Give thanks for life. Do something with it.
yes, yes. I mean, but the point is that for still, like, once you learn something, You have to implement it. For example, like people use words like meditation and stuff like that. Okay, like, okay, that we have to meditate, it's an activity we have to do. Okay, but then they don't know the term what meditation even means. Okay, what kind of action is that? Like, how do you do meditation? Okay, then the question arises, what is meditation and how do you do it? Okay, so like,
There's no questioning there, because I was doing meditation before I started to question things a bit deeper. I was in touch with all this stuff, new age meditation, but I was not questioning what was meditation, what's the word mean, what's this. No questioning at all.
yeah, but
Just
that's also, then
repeating
people
like a
will go into
robot.
that thing. Then there are a lot of people selling different kind of meditations out there. Like, this person is selling this. There are different shops out there in this world, or you can do this meditation, you can do that meditation, as if there can be 100 kind of meditations. Okay, which is a very strange concept, because meditation is one word only, and it can mean only one thing, which the word medi in Latin, median, means center. Okay, it doesn't mean anything else. So, like, you can't have 100 kinds of centering. Okay, centering is centering. Like, you have one body only, you can't do 100 kinds of centering on it. Like, you have one axis in your body, and you have to center around that axis in your body. So whether your mouth is there, where your speech is there, where you're centering, or your being, it cannot be 100 kinds of centering. Okay,
Is
so
that why they represent the Earth as tilted like that in their stupid Babylonian model? That we're
yeah,
all
yeah,
on an axis because we're not centered, we're not aligned, so we're all
yeah,
crooked.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
that's why they do that.
Yes, yes. So the point is, like, even these kind of things, when people go into that word and stuff, like, and people say, like, okay, I've got to do something, I've got to meditate. Okay, a lot of people come to that things. Then people don't know how to do it, and what, then again some learning comes. What is centering, or what is meditation actually? And to do that, and then once you learn from some source which is like, which has actually done it themselves, then you have to implement it. Then it comes to the process of implementation. So learning, then implementation. Okay, like, and then first is questioning. Okay, like, because people think that there can be 100 million kinds of meditation. Okay, now it's a like a joke, like everyone has his own meditation. Okay, like different, they call it kriya yoga, you can call it this, they can call it this, they can call it this meditation, that meditation. But meditation is, by itself, by definition of that word, is one thing only. Okay, which is all languages, even in Sanskrit the term is madhya. Okay, center means madhya. If you see the word madhya, it'll become med, median. All of these words are the same word, which are becoming the same thing. So madhyam, median, medi, all of that is center. Okay, so that there is only one meditation, which is your body is centered and your being is centered. You,
Medicine.
yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Oh,
and in medicine also, the same thing comes, medicine, like medi. So
Medi.
yeah, so then there's only one medicine. The centering is the only medicine. Okay, there cannot be any other kind of medicine. Like, yeah, like, it's not some pill you pop. Yeah,
But we created medicine because we don't have that medicine within ourselves, the
yeah,
natural alignment. We're
yeah,
all crooked and we need
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
yeah.
true.
So then you have to pop pills and stuff, and then you call that medicine. Okay, so I mean,
That's big.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, obviously, like, people have to come to these kind of things, like, that, like, instead of just using terms, one has to know what that term actually is and what is the action for that term, not just a theoretical concept in one's, like, and or not all the lies which other shopkeepers are selling. Like, because people are selling different kind of meditations for these many dollars or that many dollars and things like that, which, there's shops, they're just like shops. They don't care. It doesn't matter, they take your money and they'll give you some crap, and that's it. Like, that's all there is, like, to it. Like, that's all these things are. Like, I call them shops. you know just like you have shoe shops, you have a shop for, like, these things, you have meditation shops. Okay, like, so they have, each one gives them a different label. Like cereal packets, like cereals are different kind of cereals, you get like 100, 200 kinds of you know like processed food of different kinds. Like, so they're just brands, like names and stuff like that, which, and none of them I know of ever teaches centering at all. None of the meditation even mentions the word centering, that you have to do that. Okay, I've, like, seen so many of these people teaching meditation, and they don't have a single idea of centering at all. Even in all of yoga, which has become so big in the West in the first last 20, 30, 40 years, it is like so big, and There's no centering being mentioned out there, or no centered speech, nothing. You have to just put your body like this leg behind this shoulder and that leg behind that shoulder, and uh, and all kinds of things are happening, you know but no mention of centering at all, like neither in the teachers nor in the students, not anywhere. So that's the situation. That means the beings who are going into that are being insincere. Okay, if you're being insincere in this multiverse, okay, in any which way, shape, or form, you will get duped, because you are asking for that. It's you who is asking for being duped and getting the wrong information and the wrong message by your own insincerity. It's nothing to do with the outside. You can't blame the outside. you know
And once you find that alignment, also that meditation is a 24/7 thing. I don't meditate like an hour a day. No, it's a constant the meditation. It's not something we do once in a while.
yes, no, obviously not. Like, I mean, you have to be like, even if I'm speaking to you right now, then I have to speak from the center of my mouth throughout the
Yeah.
interview, the whole time I'm speaking to you. It's not like I'm gonna start speaking some other way or something like that. So then I won't be meditating, I won't be in the center. And then whatever I speak from my mouth has to be real things. Like, if I speak nonsense from my mouth anytime, then I'm not meditating. you know like, if I'm gonna say some wrong thing, or like just like make a wrong that thing about thing, or just try to sell something or something like that, then that's a wrong thing, and one should not be doing that. So all of that is the discipline which comes in. So like, if I'm talking to you this right now, then I'm meditating right now in this moment. Like, that's all I'm doing. And it's not like once this talk finishes, I'll stop doing that. Or like, it's a 24/7 activity, the whole thing. So that's why, like, if you are in that state, then you don't have to prepare for anything. Like, if I'm talking to you, I don't have any preparation for doing that thing, because these are facts and truths and observations which I've made anyways. So I'm not going to prepare for that, like,
I
to
come
like.
here with topics. I have a few stuff written, but most of the time we don't even go through all this, and we end up talking about other stuff. So it's no
Yeah,
preparation. It's
yeah,
like, but it's the same thing with what we do with our life. We prepare to live like we should live. We should not prepare to live, but we're stuck in
yeah, but for that,
preparation.
but you have to learn to know how to live. You have to learn how to live. Okay, there's a learning and an application. You'll have to learn and you have to apply. Okay, so those two things, learning and application, learning, application. Okay, that without those two, you will be in trouble. Like Jim said, if anyone just starts that thing without learning and applying, then there is no. That's why, like, even the rishi kuls and the earlier rishis which taught these beings how to be and how to live and how to take care of their bodies, how to that thing, like, it's a something, it's a process which one learns, like, what to do with that. It's nothing automatic, which is going to happen. One has to learn and apply. It's both those things. And if one is sincere, one will learn the right things and apply them, have the, like, let's say, they won't be lazy in applying it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where, if you're insincere, the laziness comes in as well. You say, oh, it doesn't matter, like, okay, I'll not, like, all of that. Because all that insincerity at different levels, you get caught up in wrong things, or you don't apply the right things, or you become lazy, or anything happens. But the core root thing is insincerity. Like, I find, finally, if the beings, any beings out there, real beings, if they get to that position where they understand they're trapped in this thing, okay, there is this problem, there's trapped in this something, okay, and they want to get out, and they have to get out. When they get that fire in them, they will do the right thing, and they will get to the right thing, and they will be ready to do the right thing. It's as simple as that for me. You know, Once they get that, like, what you call the fire inside them, for like having that sense that I have to do something about this. No, it can't go on like this. Like I have to take control now. you know like I can't wait any longer or anything, and I've had enough. Like, that thing, that's the point. From that point, beings will do the needful.
Yeah,
And
because once
yeah,
you get in touch with all this, you stop postponing and you start taking action in the now, in the
yeah,
moment, and with each and every moment and each and every breath I take, I become more awake, more aware, more vibrant, more vital.
yes,
Less, I age less. I don't know. I feel life deeper. I'm more. I love life. Me, I'm here. I'm here to rock, to reggae and roll.
yes,
For sure.
and
I'm not
yeah,
here
and
to sleep.
but yeah, and then when one gets that enthusiasm, After that,
Yeah,
one still
very
has to have that
enthusiastic about life.
enthusiasm. Then one has to get the learning and applying, still use that energy, enthusiastic energy for learning and applying. Okay, the same energy has to be utilized for that. So because it's energy at the end of the day, and then one has to use that for that is, and then one will go further up and more higher and more that thing, and then more consciousness, more learning, more applying will happen, and that's how one exits this kind of bad situation which one has put oneself in, like this trap or this prison or this kind of situation a
Well, it's a
being is
mental
finding.
prison. It's probably the
Yeah,
hardest one to escape in your life. You
yeah,
can go into a real prison. I think you're gonna have a hardest time to escape that one than the
yeah,
other
yes.
one.
Even for that, I mean, even if you're put in a physical prison, you still have to center. You can that thing. You can align your mind. You can take control of your mind under any situation and circumstance. There's no situation or circumstance out here which will stop you from taking control of yourself.
No, that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the main thing. So there's nothing which anybody can do to you out here which will takes you out of your equation. Which is you and yourself and your own discipline. So
Yeah. Now to
yeah,
go back to the moon, the stars, and the sun, because I'm very like I don't want you to explain me stuff or give me a definition, but I want you to help me make sense of it. Like I'm sure many people are in the same situation and me, looking at things, finding it very mysterious still, and still today I go out, I look. It
yeah.
kind of
Like
makes sense that it's like hovering over us, but it's the perspective I get from it. Could it be, my question to you is, could it be like you mentioned it before, a ball, a sphere there?
okay.
That's why I see it always
What,
facing me. And
okay, what I'll suggest first is not to jump to conclusions about anything. Okay, first, like I'll ask people first to, like, when you're observing something, okay, like now people are observing moon. Okay, so different times they observe moon and they find that the sky, you can see the sky through it sometimes,
yeah.
straight. You can see the clouds rolling behind it. Okay, so then it's tells you that it's not a opaque object, like opaque physical object. Okay, okay,
Okay, so
yeah.
that would explain the projection from the source, the thing of the cloud. Okay, I get
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that more you observe something, like actually observe something, the see the thing about Jyotish is it's about not what moon is made up of or what sun is made up of. It's their motion and is their
Right.
presence in front of because ecliptic is a one line only. Where all the grahas move, it's one line in the sky. The more you observe, you'll find that they are just forming one line. Okay, and the stars, the fixed stars which are there behind that line, which are called the constellations, are there just behind that line. So it is all very made up, like in a way where you can actually see which, it's all about the motion of these bodies, then what these bodies actually are. Okay, they can be lights, they can be plasmas, they can be non-physical. That does not matter here. Okay, what their constitution is. Okay, what their constitution is does not affect the psychological effect or impact their presence has in different points of the sky. Okay, so like people start, like, let's say, speculating about their constitution and stuff. That's where I find that people go into the wrong way. you know there's no point speculating. Okay, like speculating about what this is exactly. Point is the effect, which is more important. Okay, what is the effect of this being here and this being there? Okay, what is the effect of a full moon? Like, people find out on full moon, people go more insane, and a lot of problems happen in hospitals and mental asylums and all these places and stuff like that. These are observable effects. Okay, it's nothing to do with what a moon is made up of or not. Like, okay, what happens in a full moon, what happens in new moon, and all of that, like, people can actually see the effects. And see, Jyotish is about effects on human beings, how, like, that particular moment in the sky, what is it saying about psychologics, everything, this circumstances, the whole human life, what is it saying about that? So it's more about that. So when you are observing these things, you are observing their motions. you know like there's a rising up in the, whatever you call, east, the horizon, they're rising up in that thing, and they're setting just like the sun. All of these rise and set. Like moon also rises and moon also sets. Okay, it's the same way like sun does, and every other, like, all of these celestial objects are rising and setting. Everything, or the stars on the, like which is called the ascendant. So there are some stars in the eastern horizon when you were born. So that is called your ascendant, which means these stars are there in the east at the time when you're born. So they're coming up. Ascendant means they're rising, ascending. That's where the term ascendant comes from. They're ascending on the eastern horizon. So they're coming up. So if something is coming up, that means you are also coming up in your body, physical body, and that is also coming up. So there is a parallel drawn between you and that. So that is called your personality stars, like the what you are born with. Like that's your personality, your physical body, what how it will be, and that thing will be affected by those particular ascending stars. So in the same way, there is stars which are descending on the western horizon. They're going below the horizon, and then that will be called descendant, which is your seventh house. So even the houses in the chart are based on that only, like actual observation outside. It's nothing to do with. It's just like a map. Like if you want to
This
put
is
a,
the thing.
if you
Everything
want
is
to take a
mapped
photograph of
out.
the sky, yeah. If you take a more photograph of the sky at the time of your birth, the whole thing as a whole, that is your chart. So Vedic chart is nothing but a snapshot of the celestial objects in the skies at the moment of your birth. That's all it is. But on a paper, okay, it's just showing, okay, this graha is in this constellation, this graha is in this constellation, this graha is in this constellation at the moment of your birth. This thing is rising on the sky. That's all it is. It's just like a photograph, and they can tell what was the photograph at whatever 1st June 73 or 1st June 1873 even.
You can tell a lot by a photograph, but
Yeah,
with
yeah,
an image, which we have with Babylon, images are just
yeah.
representation.
Yes. So that is an actual thing, which is actual celestial thing, which is actual part of nature. Okay, like something like, you know. So like if you see a picture of tree, it's a tree. Like okay, like, and if you see a picture of like the landscape, this, that, whatever is in it. So now you have enough information to tell what all these things are. There are bushes, shrubs, this, that. Same way for a real Jyotish person, once they see the chart, there's a lot of information out there for them, which they can decipher from that picture. Just like a person from a picture can decipher. Okay, you have this picture right now on the screen, right now on your TV. There are TPs. So
Yeah,
TPs will automatically come to know, like, okay, they're Native Americans. Okay, will be involved somehow.
I
Okay,
love them.
yeah, yeah.
Very peaceful.
Okay, so then this is some plane out there, and this is, so then the Native Americans will come out from this. Okay, so like a picture will give all different kind of details. Okay, this is just a picture on Earth, so it gives a earthly detail as to what is happening, or what kind of people are involved, or what is this, or this is sunrise, sunset, whatever. The same way, the snapshot of the stars and the celestial things gives a whole much more information about what is going to happen below, because the same thing, as above so below. So
Okay, and
yeah,
can there be like special moments where people are born, like they say, indigo child, or maybe in the time where I'm, because I felt this is very natural. I came here for that stuff. I have no fear, and I came here for that. That's really me, and that's the fire inside you see, and the whole
yeah,
thing is me. It's not force. It's not. I don't.
yeah,
Nobody pressurize me to do anything. I follow my heart, my path, and
yeah,
but my heart. Yeah, it's my heart. It's in my
yeah.
chest.
I mean, right now, it's not just you. I find that any being who has got any spirit on Earth right now, any being who has any spirit on Earth right now, will automatically have this thing, and they will, because the pressure is so much right now. The pressure is so much right now that people will say, like, I cannot take it and I cannot handle it, and this is, I've had enough. Okay, this will not happen just to you. It will happen to every being who has spirit. It will. Like, there is no doubt, there's no question in any of that, because no one can handle this kind of situation or this kind of way of being for very long if they have a spirit. If they don't have a spirit, if they're a robot, if they're automaton, they can carry on with it. That is normal for them. Like, for
So
them,
you come here with the spirit. That's what you're telling me. Because sometimes I'm trying to make sense. Why me? Why me? Why this happening to me? I don't feel different than the neighbor in front. I can go have a great conversation with him. Maybe not very conscious. It's going to be about beer and sports and stuff like that. But
yeah, but
still, we
yeah,
can talk.
yeah, but those things are just a program. Even a program can talk about beer and sports
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. You don't have to be a spirited being to talk about those things.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Explain that. Go deep into this. Really fascinate me.
yeah.
Why us? Why are
Like
we
spirit
here?
is
Me and you talking about
like
this
spirit
in
means,
this
okay, like
moment. You know,
okay, the
just that.
spirit means a sense of inquiry. Okay, like like a spirit will automatically have some basic things, like questioning, like a inquiry. Sense of inquiry means like, what is all this? What are these stars? Where am I? What is all this? Where am I born? Who am I? All these things a spirit will have. Okay, a person, a being who might have a physical body, look like you, talks like you, okay, but doesn't have this questioning or doesn't have that thing, then that person doesn't have a spirit. Okay, it is just a biological robot. Okay, it's not.
It is
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, it is. And that is also technology. Okay, you there are beings which can make biological robots. Okay, okay, so just like right now people try to make like metal robots and stuff, like there are beings which can make biological robots, and they have made them, and they are all around Earth. Okay, there are a lot of biological robots on Earth. Okay, which have been made by beings. Okay, okay, so they form society, they form the that thing of society, they do a lot of things, like, which normal spirited being would not want to do. Or there are a lot of tasks in this matrix which they take care of, which, because you can't get spirited beings to do those things. Okay, so for example, like there's a lot of things, like so like they are just running a program. Okay, those beings, they just look physical, like that thing, but they are not. Once they die. Once their physical
That's
system.
it.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you just make sense of something. Go ahead.
yeah,
Keep going.
yeah.
I'll interrupt you after.
Yes. Okay, so once they're physically dead, they're dead. Okay, they don't have, there's nothing which comes out of them. Okay, which keeps on living. Okay, the spirit which keeps on living when the physical body dies. Okay, so a lot of beings which are there, like they just, they'll just be like, okay, yeah, they're just part of this thing. Because the to function, like I told you, like as a checkout person or whatever, that doesn't require much knowing or much uh, sense of that thing of beingness or spirit to do those tasks. They are just like simple kind of tasks which even a robot can be programmed to do. And if those beings are just doing that and they don't have any other question in life, they don't have any other that thing about what happens after death or queries or anything like that, or anything like that, then they are not sentient, real spirited beings. So first, people are under illusion that everybody out here has a spirit. Okay, which is not true. Okay.
That's the thing. I always wondered that. That's why I was like,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
look at the stars and I see them very, very alive. Like they all, there's not a stars up there that is totally fixed. They're like they always,
yeah, 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 yeah,
like
yeah,
they're active, they're alive. So I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying, what is
yeah,
that? Could
yeah,
it be
yeah,
just light beings where after death, if you have a great spirit here, if you
yeah,
have inquiries, like you said, and you search outside of this conceived reality, you might
yeah,
find a way to get up there and maybe shine
yeah.
as a star after. I see that, man. Come on,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
cannot.
you get to higher realms, like in the, you can go to the higher realms and that thing, which are different realms, and you can have existence there and things
I
like
want
that.
to go there, man. I want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
experience
yeah.
that stuff.
Yes, so that for that one has to, like, one can't make a mistake of thinking that, okay, that every being, just because it's a box, talks, or like has a physical biological body, okay, that doesn't mean it's like a spirited being, or it is that thing. And I mean, in the Vedic, it's very clear, like in Vedic stories and that thing, that these beings can be created, and there are beings who know the technology to create these beings. And so all of that is there anyways in the Vedic thing. So that is the part of, like, people will find, like right now people are doing with cloning and all that thing. But this is beyond cloning. This technology is beyond cloning and anything, like, because these beings can actually reproduce and produce children as well, like, so. Yeah,
That's beyond cloning, man. What we're
yeah,
doing is much beyond cloning. And we're even reproducing.
yeah,
Like
yeah. But
some
then
people make 10, 12 kids.
yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, all the, but that doesn't make them, like, just because something can reproduce doesn't mean it has a spirit. Okay, it doesn't mean that. Okay. Okay, so, like, these are like simple processes.
And even
which
someone, a parent with a great spirit, doesn't mean the children's gonna have automatically the spirits. What you said,
no, nothing. There's no such guarantees of any kind.
that's it.
Yeah. So because the whole thing is like that. So that's why it's the people like a lot of want to like get to everyone like, no, I want to teach every, or like it's not for everyone. It's, this thing is only for spirited beings. Any
And you
talk.
feel
Yeah.
that from a young age, that spirit too. I felt that stuff from a young age. I can go back in the past and I always felt like not special, but I felt something vibrant inside of me. Even when I was 10, 12, I was able to point nonsense and stuff, and people were laughing at me, thinking I was crazy. And
Yeah. But that's the job of those beings, to make people feel crazy. The ones who are asking questions or who are that thing or coming to conclusions, their job is to make people feel crazy. Okay, like that's
that's
part
my
of the,
job. I'm good at that.
yeah, no, that's part of their job, to make those other people feel like that. That's why they're there. Like I said, like there are many more prison bricks in a prison than a prisoners. Okay, so for one prisoner there'll be many prison bricks. Okay, each prisoner. Okay, so that's enough of a hint and a clue. Like I'm leaving there, so it's
Yeah.
okay. So
And
yeah.
also, if you can have that state of being like, even me right now, today, I think I can probably reach more of that inquiry process and stuff. Like I'm just scratching the surface of my potential. Honestly, I don't feel like I'm nowhere near where
Yeah.
I want to be, what I want to become, and very inspired, very vibrant and alive. I look like it, but to me, I'm just scratching the surface. So imagine if you scratch the surface at one point. If you scratch your skin, you'll get to the blood, the real stuff.
Yes. Obviously, like like a real spirit being will always carry on. Like it's a incessant thing. It's not a thing which stops and starts and stops and starts. It's incessant. The whole thing is incessant. You once you start in that process, you never stop. Like it's not nothing which stops. It carries on and on and on, and until reality and the truth and the facts are faced and they're done, and then you go forward from there. It is always the case that it is it cannot stop until one has gotten to the thing. Like if you are in this system, for example, this matrix, this thing paradigm out here, then you will at least get the truth of this first, before you get the truth of anything else which is beyond, which you are not perceiving right now. Okay, so like it's those steps. Like if you are put in a thing, then you figure that thing out first before you can figure something else out. So 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 spirit being always has those steps automatically, because those are natural steps, they're natural things. That's the natural way of progression and nature's way of progressing. Okay, it's not artificial
And
or
these are the
senseless.
same for
Yeah,
everyone. Also, we all
yeah,
have the same steps to go through. We're not on different planes and different
yeah,
different biological equipment. We all have eyes, ears, mouth, nose, and
yeah,
we
yeah,
go through
yes,
the same steps.
yeah. So I mean, and that's why like there's a lot of new age nonsense which has been spewed in the last like 50 years, which has been like, oh no, path is different for everyone and all of that. Like that's just to confuse people. There's a lot of confusing things they say. Like it's I mean, it's not like, I mean, and like like each seed makes a tree. Like it makes it by a certain process the same way. It's not like this is different for this seed or that seed, or it's not like that. Like even though trees come out different, they still, the process is the same. you know like, so there's an individuality there, but the process is the same. Nature
Every
doesn't.
tree grows from the ground
Yeah, and from the seed, like how the
and
seed.
from the seed.
Yeah, yeah, so all of that is the same. It's not like it just happens just like that. No, this tree is different. Like, like it's um so like it's like people have to understand that basic sense of the multiverse, and not get caught up in this like a lot of things which are there to distract spirits, I would say. Like, and to send them on the wrong paths and
But
pathways.
it's
Yeah,
not like given
yeah,
to you. Like I think I at one point you need other beings also that see things. Like I had to go through many hangouts here, many reasoning with many people. You, Arthur, Christian were wonderful. Jabba, all these people came along and also showed me a different
yes,
way of seeing things. Like the way
obviously,
the moment you change the way you look at things, the things you
Yes.
look at are gonna change. Lah.
Yes, yes, obviously, and that's the thing. Like that's why the Vedic thing was like from the very beginning of creation. Like it's the starting from the starting point itself. And so, like if you go through all of that, then you have the whole uh, idea much more of the whole thing. Like in the West, the Vedic thing is not there so much. So people obviously get to those points through different ways, but it takes much longer, and then they get to certain kind of thing. Like okay, like if they find out, a lot of people find out something, then that'll be still like one little part of the Vedic thing, that they have touched upon, rather than the whole picture or the whole thing.
The big
Like it's like
picture.
there's a big tent and you're touching different parts of it here and there and stuff like that. Like that's what happens. And it takes a lot of time and effort for people just to get to one little dot point of something, and still which doesn't finally again doesn't tell them how to deal with their own selves and bodies and beings and time on earth, and how to actually meditate, and how to actually what diet to have, what how to live. Because finally you have to live 24 hours a day, and and the whole day to day and day to day, and like this it carries on, and how to actually exist in a way which is beneficial for yourself and which evolves you. And so that is the main point. Like, and any talk which doesn't deal with that is not anything useful. Like, and that's what it has to get to, is where beings finally get to that stage where they want to learn and apply, and learn and apply like the real thing, and how to actually exist in order to evolve, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So my question before was also because I just thought of it. I forget to ask you. Sometimes I get hyper and I
Yeah.
lose my train of thoughts. But could
Sure.
there be like I said when I was born, there was a certain celestial activities and that. But could there be in time? Could you predict in time? Like, can they go? People that have that knowledge and are very in tune with this,
Yeah.
can they like predict one moment in the future and conceive a child that will come? Like, can there be a super moment where a super child will be
Yeah.
born and with super
No, yes.
abilities and stuff, and
All of
there's
that can
like, you know what I mean?
all of that can be done. All of that can be done. There's no problem in any of that. Like all of that was done, can be done, and was done, and will be done. Like it has always been happening for like since
Because
the
there is
yes.
children
Yeah.
very
So
very
there is
enlightened,
all of that has been happening, and
very
people have
vibrant.
made it. But the thing with all this is that okay, there is a thing called free will in actions. Okay, so even if you get a child on that thing and which has got those things, there's no guarantee that it will do the right actions. Okay,
Okay.
because there is a thing called free will and actions on top of the things. Okay, which changes things. Okay, because of a free will you can do actions, and from your actions you can, so like no matter what kind of like chart or whatever you were born with, okay, you can still change things by your actions.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one can predict that. Okay, you,
Okay.
so that takes it out of that. Like most people, because they don't do any kind of very strong actions right now, like which change things. Okay, so then for them you can predict everything, through that you can say like okay, this is going to happen to you. Okay, you can just, because people are not doing anything, they're just sort of floating on the tides of time and destiny. Okay, so if you're just floating like that, then obviously it will happen. Like for example, like uh, if you start from a particular city to another city. Okay, so like you are traveling. Okay, so you a person can tell that you are going in that direction in your car. Okay, so then they can predict, okay, in 3 hours you will reach that city, because they know the distance of that city to you, where your car is, what is your car is going around 50 miles an hour, whatever. So you'll reach that place in 3 hours. So that's a prediction. They can say 3 hours later you will be in that city. Okay, so that is logical, isn't it? Because that's the way you're going, right? But if you stop somewhere and you take a side road and then their prediction goes wrong, right? You will not reach there because you're taking some action. Okay, and not taking that thing.
But if you go according to the map,
Yeah, yeah. Then
that's
they
it.
can, then their thing will come true. You are 3 hours later you'll be in that city. So you'll think there's some sort of magic they've done, but it's not some magic they've done. They're just no, because what you're going, like there was a road you were on and you're traveling on it, and if you travel down that road, that's where you'll go. Like it's not a some sort of a, it's just that, like, but if you take some action, if beings take free will, which is free will is there with the beings which who have spirit have free will, not the ones who don't have spirit. They don't have free will. Okay, the beings with spirit have free will, and they can take actions anytime, and that is anytime.
I refer often to values as being our values that we live by as being the map of our life,
Yeah.
and the principle being the territory we're in. So you must have principles and values to guide your life. Like if you have none, you're a robot.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what that's
Obviously.
how I see. I explain that often to people on my talks. That you must have values and principles and stick by it. These are the maps and the territory you're in, and
Yeah.
you're gonna
And the
find your
principle,
way.
that is the thing you have
Eventually,
to
it's
learn.
gonna be dark.
And even that will happen. You will only get a principle and a value once you learn something, or you actually like come to know of that. It's not going to be just like that. You'll have principle and values. Like you will have to like figure out, is this the right value, is this the right principle, is this a pure principle, is it true all time, for all time, in all the multiverse, in all time, which is called a pure principle. Like, there are things which are like will never change in time or in anything. you know so it's better to have values and principles which are immortal. Okay. And if they're immortal, then only you will be mortal. Like,
That's it. If you have no values or principle, you're gonna die fast in the physical world.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So best to have those pure principles which are beyond time and which will always hold true. Okay, and that's why a lot of the Vedic scriptures and stuff, they're called immortal scriptures because they'll always hold true in time. So that's, yeah.
Okay, someone is asking here in the chat, and it's an interesting question. They say, how should one deal with spiritless beings? Do we let them roam around freely, or we try to make a glitch inside them and make them come back to reality? What do we do with that, PT?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is you have to deal with yourself, not them. Okay, first you have to deal with yourself. If you know how to deal with yourself, you'll automatically come to know how to deal with them. That's how I'll answer that question. Okay, like, not
Okay.
okay. Your focus has to be on yourself, not on them. Okay. Okay.
Like an example, the other day I was walking in the street, and this is stuff I'm working on myself and not noticing it. I see a woman, she's in her car, parked in front of her big freaking house, and she's in her car, big Mercedes. Anyway, the material and the whole kit and the little talon haut, tout like it. Anyway, very artificial. And
Yeah.
she's on her phone for like several minutes. I was coming from the corner, and I seen her in her car on her phone. So then my wife is beside me, and I start commenting on it. I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm hurting myself more than anything. She doesn't care what I think about her. This is the kind of thing I have to stop. And I know
Yeah,
it.
obviously, yeah, obviously, that kind of reaction or energy drain one cannot have from that kind
No,
of
it's
thing.
no good. I have to
Yeah,
stop, and I know it.
yeah. But the point is, like, the more one is working on oneself, one doesn't have any time or energy to do
This is
anything
what
else.
I'm trying but it's not happening from one day to another. Even me, I'm struggling and I'm battling the demons inside, and it's not
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. No, I mean, one doesn't have to battle anything and stuff. Like, one just puts one's body in the right posture and position, and one gets the speech right. That's all. One doesn't have to battle anything. One just has to take care of this, take control of this physical body, which is quite inert, which is quite that thing. It doesn't run away. It doesn't that thing. It's quite easy to handle, you know. So one just had to take control of it. One doesn't have to battle anything. Okay, inside or outside first. One just has to take control of the thing which you can take control of, which is your physical body. Your mind you cannot take control of. That is not possible. Okay, you can try it all you want. Like, you cannot take control of it. It's too fast, it's too bouncy, it runs, it jumps, it's that thing. You cannot take control of it. Okay, one thing you can take control of, which is your physical body. Okay, which doesn't run away. It's very simple, and it's very that thing. If you move your hand from here to here, it will only move because you're moving it. Okay, everything happens in
Exact,
the physical.
exact. This is the thing, controlling our action. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like, nothing in the body which happens which you don't command it to happen. Okay,
Exact.
so your body should not be out of your command. Like, like, so, like, right now your mind is commanding it. Then your mind, whatever thoughts happen in your mind, suddenly then your body reacts to it, and you go as per your mind's thoughts and stuff like that. So that should not be the case. Your consciousness should command your body, not your mind. Okay. Yeah,
Exact. This
yeah.
is very different.
Yeah, your consciousness has to command your body, not your mind. Okay. So that's a very different thing. So like most people's minds and bodies are connected like this, so and then they're very very, so whatever the mind does, the body reacts. Okay, so you have to separate those two out,
So
mind and body.
that's why New Age and all this, they all say, oh, the mind and the body, everything has to be aligned. So the mind has to... No,
No, the
the
body
mind
mind
will
spirit are connected.
guide you in all kinds of direction. But
Yes,
if you are in control, if you are aware, awake, and in control of your body, you're gonna direct your actions. This is the thing.
yes. So from consciousness, your consciousness is the thing which can observe your mind. Consciousness is a thing which allows you to observe your own mind, what it is doing, what it is thinking, what it is that thing. That is your consciousness. That is the thing which has to control your body, not your mind. Okay,
Exactly.
so that's a very very important thing. So body mind spirit is a triangle. Okay, so like this is spirit, mind, body. Okay, it's a triangle. Okay, now mind and body are separated in the triangle. They are not together. Like they're not the same dot. Okay, they are separate. Like they're separate means they're separate. Okay, but in people, because the more indiscipline you have, the more mind will control your body. Okay.
Same in the real world, like the universal mind, which I think is
Yeah,
something very powerful, is
yeah,
different than the individual mind, the people. Like it's in the same container, but it's not the same. It's not.
it's not the same. So that's when there's a difference. So there has to be a separation between your mind and body.
Yeah,
Your body should not react to every whim of your mind. Okay.
but that's new stuff. Like I've never really thought about this. I
Yeah, it's
always
simple. It's very
always
simple. Like
my
like
mind and my
I mean,
body.
yeah, like if you put like candies in front of a kid, and the mind will tell it to eat it.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
mind,
for sure.
but the mind will tell to eat it. Like okay, eat the candy. Okay, so your hand will go to the candy and take it out and eat it. Okay, something like that. Okay, that means your body is following the mind. Okay.
This is where consciousness and mind is very different. Also,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your conscience can tell, like, look, this candy can be bad for you. You eat all of that, your stomach will go bad. This thing and that thing, you can't eat that. Like Jim saying, all of yeah,
because you can have a brain doesn't mean you think.
yeah.
Many people
That's
don't think for themselves.
yeah. So what my point is, the consciousness is different from the one can't allow one's body to be controlled by the mind. Okay, so that's where the word discipline is. The discipline is mind body separation actually, and consciousness body connection. Okay, that's what discipline is, which the word I was using before.
Wow.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
we
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
we have went through a lot today. That was it went very fast. Also, 2 hours went very fast. We're gonna be back next week again for sure because we just talked about Vedic astrology. So we're gonna. I have a lot of other stuff I wanted to talk to you about. Even that, maybe we can do my birth chart next time we get together. Like you can explain a bit what is according to that date, just to give a... Do you think it's
so
good
I
to
mean,
do, or...
the thing is, we should not go into I'm very against people going into any of this at all
Oh,
until they
okay, I'm asking you now.
no, I want people to do basics. Okay, first, like, I don't want people to do anything else except take control of their body. Okay, there's
Okay, so
only
we'll
one.
let go of astrology and we'll focus
Yeah,
more
yeah.
on...
There's one. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think if you don't take control of that, I mean, anything else you're doing is
yeah.
all going to be useless. And why pile up useless? Like if you don't have a foundation, you're not going to make a building which is going to
Haha, that's it.
last. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Okay,
And
it's
if the
so
concrete is weak, it's gonna
yeah,
crack.
yeah, and it's a house of cards otherwise.
Yeah,
And a house
yeah,
of
yeah.
cards, like you just blow at it, you know, it falls
Wow.
down the whole thing. Like it's
Anyway, I
yeah.
thank you very, very much for taking time to come with us and share your inspiration. Like I said, it's sharing inspiration for greater elevation. I think it's needed that we elevate. And
Yeah.
me, I don't
I mean,
see
I don't think we
people
need
as...
inspiration. And like, no, inspiration is not required. I think the pressure is enough. The pressure of all this stuff on this world is enough. Like, no one needs any inspiration or anything. People just need more. I think what to do now, actually, rather than inspiration. Yeah, more like yeah,
I don't
like
know.
yeah,
Inspiration for me is like the whisper I hear in my ears from
yeah, but
divine
yeah,
frequency.
but that
That's the way I feel
but
it.
that is afterwards. That is afterwards. That comes later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
First
yeah.
comes first comes that pressure and that thing. Okay, I've had enough. That comes first. Okay, let's see what comes first. That comes
That's
first.
it. We'll
Yeah.
start with this next time. We'll start with we'll go through the steps of awareness. That's
Yes.
what we'll do next
Yes.
time.
Yes.
The different step and how to deal with it, embracing your confusion, which is I think necessary because it's a reflection of your growth. If you
Yes.
don't see you're confused, you're never gonna realize anything. So I realize I'm confused on many stuff, especially yeah, for sure, for sure. I still have confusion, but it's today I embrace it where before the ego was trying to kill the confusion and stuff, where today I embrace it because it makes me grow. Like I discard some stuff that doesn't make sense, some stuff makes sense, and
Yeah.
we grow from there and we learn, and life is beautiful. Life is for us to cherish and full joy. So
Yeah.
rise and shine,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And evolution is the enjoyable thing. If you evolve, you're enjoying always.
That's it. So, PT, we see each other again next Wednesday for sure. And you're in UK for a while now, or
I'll see. Like I'll let you know. Like how it.
okay,
How it is. I'll
perfect.
let you.
If you
I'll, yeah.
intend to travel the plane, you're gonna let me know. Perfect. That's
Yes.
cool.
Cool.
But until then, we'll be here every Wednesday because we have a lot to like. Life is not this. Life is. I open the book of life. It's not to close it from one day to another. I want to keep the book open, but it's the book of life. That's another thing I want to talk to you about.
Yes.
Opening the book of life, embracing confusion, the Mandela effect, the giant trees we haven't even talked about. I think geometry.
I did
Gematria,
a.
sacred geometry, pyramids, flower of life, periodic table, the tides, Lucifer, bring it on, bring it on. I have a lot of stuff, man. We're here
Yeah,
for a little while.
that, with the giant trees, I actually made a like a video on YouTube,
Yeah,
like 45 minutes. So you can go through that first. What I said in that,
I'll
I
see
just
what you said about it. That's it.
the
And,
giant trees. I didn't make that thing.
but
It is.
even me, I did a video here on the giant trees. But what I said back then is still pretty much the same. I think today, I
I
don't
call it
think
"No
my
Children
vision
on
have
Flat
changed.
Earth."
No.
Actually, that video title is "No Children on Flat Earth." That's what it's called.
But anyway, we have a
Yeah,
lot of stuff that we can reason about for sure. Life, it's about, the reflection is part of the solution. So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
activate the soul, the mind, everything in the body, and rise and shine because that's what this world needs. We need more, more. I don't like to say more inspiration. Maybe we need more pressure to
Proactivity,
wake up.
proactivity.
Proactive. That's it.
Yeah,
So large up, everyone in the chat for sure. Thank you very much. There was a lot of activities in the chat. We like it when it's alive for sure. We're two guys very alive, so we love when people are alive with us. I thank you very very much. It's very. I appreciate love everyone that comment. Also, super nice, beautiful. Nice is not a nice word. Super magnificent comment coming in all the time. I give thanks for it. Seriously, people, you're wonderful with your comments. Sometimes I'm blown away by the comments. They're so great, and it's not because it's only praising and stuff. It's some people are very very genuine, and you can feel it in their words and their sincerity in their comments. And
yeah, yes.
I just give thanks for everyone that join us and benefit from this because we don't do this to sell anything. We do this for the benefit of us all, and I just hope you get the you catch the vibe of what we're doing here because we're not here to sell anything. That's not our goal. It's just elevation, reasoning, more love, more focus, more dedication, and maybe one day the whole world will see the light.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. If we keep on pushing, keep doing the work that's required and get off our butt and the sofa and the couch and stuff and stop watching TV, for sure. It's natural thing to do. So large up, everyone. Much gratitude. Gratitude. Someone said that in the chat. That's another thing I want to talk us about is the power of gratitude. This
okay.
has a lot of power. And the gratitude for me is having a great attitude with life. So, PT,
Yeah.
next Wednesday again. We'll be
Okay.
here. Large up. Boom. We're out.